if we were already talking about maybe your wine style or what I experienced, how would you maybe describe your winemaking signature? Or if I should think about, or if someone should think about the style or the wine style of Stadt Krems, or maybe in a blind tasting, if you're gonna try different wines from Krems, also from Kremsta, maybe from the region, how would you describe maybe this quality or maybe some of your signature vineyards?
Yeah, our focus is definitely to make crystal clear wines with precise fruit. So all our wines are fermented and aged in stainless steel, besides a few Grüner Veltliner, but a Riesling, for instance, is 100% fermented and aged in stainless steel. And we want to have a really puristic and crystal clear style. That's why our wines have definitely always a good acidity structure. And in the first few months after bottling, they're less approachable. They open up after half a year to year. It just depends on the quality level where we are speaking about. But in the end, we focus on a fine varietal fruit character and a crystalline character, because that's what our soils give. They have a lot of minerals in the soil. We try to also show that in the wines, to have a very bone dry character. So all our wines are below 5 grams of residual sugar, and yeah, that's where we are happy about.
That I can confirm. So I also had all of what you said actually, but I also had the opportunity last time to taste also all the vintages. I think Grillen parts. That's what we tasted, right? And
Riesling
also,
Grill, we tasted Riesling Grill parts. Exactly. And we had a vertical which showed very good the development of the drinking window, so to speak. You know, after a few years, the wines really open up and are a pleasure and have a charming fruit. But if you drink vintage 2020 now, which I didn't present to you, but which is really closed right now, and our wines they definitely need a little time. They're approachable, but they're less approachable than in a few years, and a few years bottle aging time.
Yeah, and they gain tremendous complexity also. So your wines, but you showed me in the youth, maybe they were more like fruit forward, and as they aged, they gained such a depth, and so an inorganic element really. So this really stony element of minerality, if you want to call it, but it's I'm sure it's also some kind of reduction probably. That's why your wines are not so approachable maybe in the youth, but it's yeah, I think that these wines are probably also in this, yeah, indestructible, I would say. So they could age very well.
Yes.
Yeah. What was maybe the oldest what you tried?
In Krems, the oldest was 1960, which we have in our winery in the Vinothek, in the treasury. Back then they had different varieties like Neuburger and Muscato Tonel. They had other varieties, but what you can see is in years and vintages where the yields are rather low, the wines are definitely more ageable. So the ageability is, I think, from these experiences, closely connected to the yield and also to the acidity structure. And that's why we work also in these times with good acidity structure. So also Veltliner, Grüne Veltliner needs to have around 6 grams of acidity, which maybe some people perceive a little too high because it's too straightforward and too too hard maybe. But acidity gives life to the wine, and acidity also lets the wine age very good.
Yeah, for sure. And also all of your Veltliners, because a Veltliner has usually, yeah, I would say, or in my experience, you know probably this better, but it has at least 1 gram of acidity less than a Riesling in average, I would say, right? So it has probably less acidity and maybe less vertical, more broader mouthfeel in general. But all of your wines, because I also had the opportunity, I think 2 years ago approximately, to taste in the first lockdown. We had before the
it was
first lockdown.
1 year ago actually. It
was
okay. 1 year ago, I think, October, and this time.
Yeah, probably.
So more than a year.
And I also tried your Veltliners, and they also had a really good verticality. So they were verticality. I mean, so they were not broad or straightforwardness and very not harsh, but really like precise wines, really. And I think that's it's not so easy to find in Krems style, I would say. It's more, some Veltliners are a little bit more broader mouthfeel and a little bit more, not vertical, but horizontal wine, I would say. But all of your Veltliners were very fresh.
I would say approachable and rather charming, and fruit forward. But that is very true that also for Veltliner, our style goes towards a straightforward direction to a mineral and good acidity structure. And people in Austria, at least, have to come clear with this. If you go to other countries, for instance, Scandinavian countries, or also maybe to UK or in this area, they like this acidity structure. So because they perceive also this mineralic background. And but in Austria, of course, people in general, it's always in general, but there are exceptions. But in general, they like more a rounder style, a creamier style, more approachable, not a wine that kind of hurts, that you feel actually, and that has life.
Yeah, it's like energizing, really. Yeah, charging wines.
Yeah.
And could you please introduce your Premier Cru, so to say, so your Erste Lages maybe, or the wines what you really enjoy in your portfolio?